But the World Relays introducing a new event. Jamaica had been the sprint factory for the better part of what, 2 decades. You know, the better part of 2 decades been a sprint factory. It would have been amazing to see Jamaica getting that world record, even if it's once. You know, they take it when the opportunity is there, because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. So it look like the Jamaican athlete them their Paris, you know, already arrived and putting in some work for the World Relays. I think this is one of the very few times that the Jamaican athletes had been. I don't know if it's the Jamaican athletes who are interested in the World Relays, or is it that Jamaica learned their lessons from not being able to participate in some relays last year. I know that they would have to go to the World Relays for them to participate in major events, if I'm not mistaken. So we saw Shelly-Ann Thompson running the curve in the relays. I saw a changeover. Looks like they're taking it serious. Again, Shelly-Ann Thompson is obviously the face of Jamaica's athletics at the moment, not because of any great feat that he had achieved. Mark is the second athlete to get a silver medal at the Olympics in the 100 meters for Jamaica after Yohan Blake, and now he is out there. He's running good times. His season opener, he had a really good time, a sub 10 performance. We haven't seen a lot of sub 10 performance in 2025. Akani Simbine is obviously the most informed athlete at the moment, and Shelly-Ann Thompson ran to the line, led him to the line, and he got out dipped by Akani Simbine, who is informed and he's a veteran, and he's actually quite, he has a point to prove, and Shelly-Ann, being a new kid on the block, is obviously challenging. One might say, okay, he's not a challenger because he won against Akani Simbine in the finals of the Olympics. But yes, Akani Simbine had been through the ringers, tested and proven. Shelly-Ann is still a young athlete who probably represent the country less than 5 times. You know, even though his name had been out there, he had represented the country less than 5 times. Akani Simbine represented his country for maybe over a decade. He's been running with Usain Bolt, Asafa Powell, Justin Gatlin. He had been running for a while. And yes, Shelly-Ann Thompson right there with him. Yohan Blake, a veteran on that, going to the World Relays. I don't know what to expect from a Yohan Blake, but I don't think you can ignore a Yohan Blake. You cannot. You can get a good race out of him, and you could get the experience from a veteran. You know, there's always something to gain from somebody who had done it, something to learn from somebody who had done it. So Yohan Blake going into the World Relays, Shelly-Ann Thompson, and on the women's side we have Shericka Jackson, and we have Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. There are some people who are always saying that this would have been such a historic situation if Shelly-Ann Thompson was active and ready to represent. Naturally, Shelly-Ann Thompson can't represent because she don't have any numbers to show that she's worthy of representing. She's training, she has accolades, she has the history, but she's not active. So we can't expect her to represent. But what would it be like seeing Shelly-Ann Fraser, Shelly-Ann Thompson, and Shericka Jackson out there? It would have been such an emotional thing, because a lot of people, emotions are tied into some of these athletes. It would have been emotional just because of who Shelly-Ann Thompson is and who she represents. You know what I mean? She represents a large part of the Jamaican population, and those people who enjoy the Olympics, she represents a large part of that population as well. You know, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, naturally one of the athletes who keep her image intact, whether it's on the track, whether it's her performance, whether it's just her legacy, it's intact. She hadn't had a lot of injury scares, and it's just intact. You know, it would have been nice to see it. But one of the things that would have been most historical right now is the fact that World Relays introduced the mixed 4x1. You know, you saw the mixed 4x4 and how it took the world by storm. How the USA, they made an effort to be the record holder in the mixed 4x4. I think the Netherlands took that from them. But just imagine how a country decide that they're gonna make sure they put their name at the top of the event, even if it's for a day. The USA always make an effort to be the record holder, like the world record holder when they can. But Jamaica is sending a team out there that could challenge for that world record. If it's the first event, the first time this event is being run in the history of the world, and Jamaica is sending Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, Kishane Thompson, Shericka Jackson, and even Yohan Blake, there's an opportunity for Jamaica to get that world record. And it would have been great for Shericka Jackson to get a world record to her name, for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce to get a world record to her name, and Yohan Blake as well. Kishane Thompson, he's a young athlete, he's just came in. It's not like, okay, this guy is deserving of anything. He's gonna earn he's gonna earn his keep, as far as I am concerned. I think he will earn his keep. But the World Relay is introducing a new event. Jamaica had been the sprint factory for the better part of what, 2 decades. You know, the better part of 2 decades been a sprint factory. It would have been amazing to see Jamaica getting that world record, even if it's once. You know, they take it when the opportunity is there, because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. Now the USA could put together a team that could beat Jamaica. We've seen what Benerick is doing. You know, we know what Noah is capable of. We know what Shakiri is capable of. We've seen what Gabby Thomas is capable of. We've seen what Jefferson is doing. It's like, you know, the opportunity is there to put a battle out there. You know, whoever win this one would have something to prove in the World Championships, because the curtain goes down with the relays, and it's gonna be big, especially if the World Relays got introduced, especially if the mixed 4x1 relays got introduced in the World Championship. Would be interesting to see it. What do you guys think? How do you feel about the possibility of Jamaica representing the mixed 4x1 and setting a world record? It may not be as important as you might think, especially with the mixed 4x1 being a new event, and everybody know that the USA may not send their best team. I don't even know what the Jamaica's best team would look like. But just the fact that there's opportunity to put your name there as the world record holders, especially with Jamaica being the sprint powerhouse that it is and had been for the better part of 2 decades, it would be good. That's what I think. I think it would be good. And you know, we've seen a few videos popping up here and there with Elaine Thompson-Herah. She has been showing up. I think she's training she's training in Orlando, you know, Central Florida University, I think it is, that area. You know, so I've seen her around some of the children, some of the kids who she inspires, signing a few jerseys, kissing a few babies. You know what I mean? Yeah, but lots and lots of things going on in track and field, but nothing more positively emotionally binding or bonding than our favorite athletes going out on the track to participate in a historic moment and getting that world record in the mixed 4x1 would be quite a historic moment. Now, there are several things to come from just participating in the world relays. Jamaica know that they need to have a team participating at the world relays. They need to. And sending out some of the big guns. How strategic is it though? Seeing Kishane Thompson, he opened this season recently. We know that June, a month from now, would be one of the biggest track events in the world. Yes, one of the biggest track events in the world on Jamaican soil, the Racers Grand Prix. Last year we saw Noah Lyles losing to Oblique Seville at Racers Grand Prix. Naturally, Oblique Seville, if healthy, will be at the Racers Grand Prix. Might see Noah Lyles. Last year we saw Julian Alfred. There have been some big name athletes at the Racers Grand Prix. So a month from now, Kishane Thompson at the Racers Grand Prix. We're expecting good things. We are expecting that the comeback kid, Christopher Taylor, in the 200 meters at the Racers Grand Prix. Good things could be in store for Jamaica. I don't know how good he is, but one thing we cannot forget is how good Benerick is. Kung Fu Kenny, can't forget that. And we know that let's say Tobago is shaping up. He's finding his form, and we are expecting a spectacular year from Tobago. Akara Nugent, where we expected an extremely good year last year and it did not show up, but this year she already made $100,000 in the Grand Slam track. Yeah, I'm pocket watching. I'm not really pocket watching. Everybody, it's kind of what they promoted. They promoted the money, and we talk about it. Happy to see it. Happy to see it. I'm happy for every athlete, even the ones from that way I don't know. I'm happy for them who win because they have to train for a long time, a very long time, to get to a point where you could represent your country. You have to beat a lot of people, especially if you're from Jamaica. You have to beat a lot of extremely good athletes to get that opportunity to represent your country, even at the junior level, yet alone at the senior level. So when you see an athlete reaping some form of reward from that hard work that they put in over the years, for decades, you know, some athletes are 20 and they had been training for 2 decades. Some athletes are 23, 24. They had been training for 2 decades already. These are professional athletes. Now, for those who are getting professionally paid, kudos to them. For those athletes who had been paid and now they are just entertaining the world, kudos to them as well. Asafa Powell came out, said a lot over a lot of months, and I think this is just the beginning. Because after saying that he may or may not allow his child or his sons to run for Jamaica, a lot of people were a little emotional about the conversation, rightfully so, especially since we're emotional about Jamaica. But that's his children and that's his home and that's his reality. But the way how his children or his son is looking in training by his father, who is a previous world record holder, it's interesting. His son could become a world record holder from junior all the way up to senior. That boy is training already. And if your son is going to be training for 20 years, you want him to capitalize or cash in on that. So if it's going to be some country other than Jamaica, it still will be an amazing thing, because everybody would be saying that he's a Jamaican, the Jamaican blood in him, you know, all kind of stuff. So yeah, I do believe that it's a good conversation. I think the conversation will motivate a lot of other people to say something. I've seen Asafa Powell training. Nobody can tell me that he's not coming out of retirement or he's not going to try to cash in on something. The amount of training that I'm saying, no, that's not his son training, that's him. Asafa Powell is definitely going to try to cash in on something. I wonder if he can get into Grand Slam track for next season. Why not? It's 2 events. The guy is 41. You only run 2 races, maybe 8 races for the year. Outside of training, you know what kind of money you could pull in for that? Drop your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your comments. I really appreciate the comments. Any feedback is appreciated. Rewrite narrative, like and share and subscribe.